Who doesn't want to be happy? Who doesn't want to see a happier life? At Yale University in the Ivy League, a professor has a free online course on the science of living a happy life. Enrollment has spiked by about 3,000% during the COVID pandemic. It's called Psychology 151, Psychology in the Good Life. And it started in March, of 2018, and it has just exploded. It's a 10-week course, science-based examinations of well-being contrasted with common misconceptions about happiness. Dr. Cindy Wahler is a psychologist, expert in human behavior, and works with organizations in both the private and public sector to rewire mindsets. And she is here now to help us on this topic on 700 WLW. Dr. Wahler, how are you on this glorious Thursday?
I'm excellent. Thank you so much for having me on.
I need to rewire some things myself. Maybe we can do that in the next few minutes. But over and above
let's get started.
Let's get started. Over and above that, what does it say about us that it took something like this for a large number of people to try and get happy? Are we not happy as a society, in your opinion?
Well, I can't speak for the society as a whole, but of course, as you know, with the global pandemic, it's caused us to be more internal, much more reflective, and think about what it is that is our source of happiness. And so it's not surprising that this professor's course is so timely. I think there are 3 million students participating in the course as everybody's seeking for what the source of happiness should be. I think we have commonly made a mistake around referring to material goods, comparing ourselves to others, and it's a void you can't fill when we look externally. So the idea is to look inside.
Well, and therein lies the explanation. Science-based examinations contrasted with common misconceptions about happiness. And I think, as you just alluded to, comparisons to other people's lives and material goods don't often lead to happiness. They may lead to satisfaction, but it doesn't lead to happiness. And there's a distinct difference between satisfaction and happiness, correct?
Correct. And when we do compare ourselves to others, it's probably a misnomer because there are always going to be individuals out there who are more something, more talented, brighter, smarter, more attractive, more compelling. And so it's a losing proposition. And what I do say to my clients is to figure out what is your value set and align your values and your life with those drivers, what makes you happy, rather than looking outside.
And it's a common trap to fall into with social media. You get on Twitter and you look at what other people are doing, or on Facebook, and maybe they're at this vacation, that vacation, they're posting wonderful things about each other. They don't post anything about the problems they may have, financial or otherwise. So that's an easy trap to fall into now in this day and age of social media, right?
That's an excellent point. You're right, because we look to social media for how many likes, how many followers, and if you look at adolescents in particular, the level of depression and the frequency of depression, unfortunately, sadly, has increased, and in particular amongst girls, adolescents who are seeking that kind of affirmation. And so we have a misperception of some of these influencers and celebrity presence who, in fact, have challenges just like we do, and everybody in the world does, but you don't see that because they present a different image. And we have to have that reality check that they have the challenges and different challenges than the everyday person has.
I'm not going to ask you to analyze society as a whole, but why do we as humans have trouble with enjoying what we have as opposed to what we want? I know.
I love this question.
Yeah, why do we have that kind of trouble?
So first of all, I think the way to answer it is that it's probably important for us to stay in the moment. And so we look to the future or we look for more. And, society always benchmarks us against achieving more, aspiring for more, rather than thinking about if you stay in the moment and enjoy what you have or the gifts that you were given in life, then it is a better way to be rather than looking for higher expectations. Was one study that looked, in fact, at interesting populations across the globe, those who grow up with much, lots, monetarily, financially, lots of resources, and those that grew up with very little. And for many of those who grew up with very little, they're in fact happier than those who have had all kinds of privileges because they didn't have expectations to necessarily go on to university, college, or to become prominent in their field, which allowed them then to have more realistic expectations and then for more happy lives and more satisfying lives, as you suggest.
Dr. Cindy Wahler, our guest psychologist, and we're talking about this Yale University professor who has a free online course on the science of being happy and how it's just exploded over the course of the last 3 or 4 years. It's a tough world to be happy in. If you listen to a lot of the voices that are out there, I mean, we all know what we're going through in this country with regards to health and with regards to supply chain things, just the normal everyday living. Is it difficult, or would you even suggest that maybe what we need to do on a daily basis is just step back and understand that a lot of that is noise and that we have no control over it, and all we have control over is how we go about our daily business? Would that be good advice?
That's excellent advice, and you've articulated it exceptionally well. So what I like to call is your locus of control. What in your world can you control? What are you grateful for? The gifts that you have, the friends that you have, people in your world, your health, resources that you have that are specific to you, and to be grateful for that and have a sense of self-worth and deserving based on what surrounds you and what it is that you can employ within your control.
Yeah. Are you happy?
Of course I'm happy. I'm talking to you. And that's an absolute privilege and an honor to be here. And I'm enjoying myself. So absolutely. And I tried to follow my own advice, but just like everybody else, to normalize it, there are some days or times of the day where I may not be. And I have to remind myself and put in practice what I'm preaching to my clients.
Understand it completely. Dr. Wahler, thank you. This is good stuff. And thank you for your time. Stay well. Yours is a voice we need to hear, and hopefully we can talk again. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks so much.